Hello, you guys. So happy to have you here. We're going to be talking today about one of the fastest paths to cash and calm and about knowing when to close or sell your store. You might have asked yourself, like, how long do I want to do this? What's my exit strategy? Should I sell or should I close? And how do I know what it is I want to do? Those are all excellent questions. And I tell you, we've been doing this for so long now, and we just realized that you guys, that we had to share this information. This training is exactly for you. I'm going to be sharing how to know when it's time. Should I sell or close? I will tell you that the reason why we titled this, You're Sitting on a Gold Mine, is that 9 times out of 10, people are shocked to find out what's possible for them. And we're also going to talk about the emotional roller coaster of taking the next step. And even if you're not currently thinking about life after retail, I'll tell you, this is a great informative session for you to keep in your back pocket, right? But before we dig in, stay calm. This is not, let's all take a deep breath, shall we? Because this is not an easy topic to think about or talk about. I want to acknowledge that from the beginning. It can bring up so many emotions, ranging from anxiety to fear, to shame, to relief, to guilt, to excitement, to joy. So let's all take a deep breath and know that wherever you are in this process, it doesn't matter whether you're brand new to retail or you have decades under your belt, where you've been thinking about this decision for a long time, or you're just being proactive and gathering information and leading the future. I'm here to guide you through this. That's what our team is here for. You're not alone. Leading you through this, going out of business, or what's the next step after retail. It's a step-by-step service that we're so honored to offer. And we've helped hundreds of retailers go through this process, generating more cash than they can ever imagine. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Kathy Donovan Wagner, and I founded Retail Mavens because I have lived pretty much every single retail nightmare that you can think of, so that you don't have to. That's what I figured God was doing for me. He was putting me through all this stuff so that I would learn and be able to share it. I owned 3 children's clothing stores in the western suburbs of Chicago. And I tell you, I had to truly hit bottom. I was close to bankruptcy twice, actually, before I realized what I didn't know, and I started to really learn. I got serious and tested and tracked and analyzed strategies. And more importantly, I resourced up. I got a coach and learned from people who knew better than I did. I reached out for help, and I really finally cracked the code for retail. And it all got turned around because of the science I learned. So often the passion doesn't alone pay the bills, right? It's the science too. And that's why I started Retail Mavens, so that I could share what I learned with thousands of other independent retailers, so that they wouldn't have to go through the struggle that I went through. And it's that same science that has helped me to help hundreds of retailers, thousands of retailers at this point, generate so much cash in the process of selling or closing their business, because there is a right way to do it. There's a right way to do it. And listen, this can be a scary topic for sure. And the reason why is because there's so much uncertainty. For most of you, you don't have any experience with closing or selling a store, and there's so much you don't know, right? Just thinking about it probably triggers questions for you, like, what would I even do if I wasn't doing this? Or what will my family think, my customers, and am I going to lose money? What if I don't sell everything that's in the store? And what will I do with all these fixtures and supplies? Should I sell or should I close? And how do I do it? You guys, let me put your mind at ease. We have coached hundreds of retailers through this process of selling or closing their store, and we're able to answer all your questions, all these questions, and any others that you might have that aren't on this list. So if this is something that you're considering in the near or far future, I hope it gives you peace of mind to know that you're not the only one asking these questions, and that we can help you answer them. But there is one more question that I want us to dig into a little deeper. And I know it's going to help clarify things for you. And that is, how do I know it's time? This is the one question you should focus on, because of all the scary unknowns that cloud our vision, it can be hard to know for sure if this is the right thing the right thing to do or not. So there are two sets of signs that I want you to pay attention to. All right. On their own, they're just an indication that something is off, but together they'll tell you that you're ready to take the next step towards life beyond retail. All right. These are the things that people, when they come to me, that we always coach them through. I ask them all these questions, our team does, because this is how we'll help you make the decision. This information isn't out there anywhere. People don't know. And so that's what we're here to help you do. All right. So the first one is signs from your store. These are some good indications that your store is struggling. And I'd like you to have your pen and paper handy and write down true or false for the following statements. Are you ready? Can you drop me a I'm ready in the comments? Would you please? I'd love to know. And I'm curious also, have you ever asked yourself any of those questions? Have you? Just drop a me in there. You don't have to share like if you've thought about all that, but just drop a me in there if you've asked yourself some of those questions. Oh, I'm so glad that you're already many times. Gosh, Mary Dee, I'm so grateful for your honesty because, and you too, Joyce, because I know you're not alone. You're not alone. Like I said, the team and I talk to retailers all the time. And so many people, so that's the reason why we decided to do this, is because so many people have asked, and we did realize that it was a service that we needed to provide to the public. All right, so let's dig in, shall we? The first thing is you owe the state or federal government for past due taxes or past due income tax. Just true or false, just a T or an F. How about this one? Your staffing stays the same each month, independent of sales forecasting. So what this means is that you're not using sales to determine what your payroll should be. How about this one? You're making purchasing, advertising, and marketing decisions based on cash flow. This was one of the big ones for me. I can remember being in the plane, going to a trade show and talking, ran into a friend on the plane, another colleague, and her saying, well, gosh, I've got my list all planned out. I know exactly what I'm going to be buying. I know exactly what I need. And my sister and I just sat there looking at each other like, yeah, no, we don't have any cash in the checking account, really. We're using points to take this flight. And I'm staying at a friend's house in New York to save money and commuting an hour into the trade show. It was really one of the things I was like, this just isn't right. This isn't how retail should be. So often people make those decisions based on how what the amount of money that's in their bank, in their checking account, and not doing it based on a plan. And that's what's so critical about this. You really should be doing it based on a plan. How about this one? This was it for us too. You're paying off last season's invoices with this season's sales. True or false? True or false? Like, does it meaning that you're paying when you're getting all your fall goods in, but you're using, and the sales from those fall goods are actually going to pay off your spring goods, right? That's what I mean about it. How about this one? You always, oops, so sorry guys. You always carry a balance on your credit cards. They're never fully paid off. And in fact, you're not even really sure how much you owe on your credit cards because you're afraid to look. And you guys, there's no judgment in this. I'm saying all this because I've been there, right? So that's what I want you to know, true or false. And let me also clarify that. We have clients that always carry a balance, but they're paying it off at the end of the month, right? Or mostly off. So that's what that means. How about your rent is more than 10% of your sales? Just taking that total rent that you pay for a whole year and including in that rent, the taxes you might pay, your common area maintenance, that you're wrapping all that up and you're just dividing it by what your sales are. Is that rent more than 10%? It can be hard to do it if that is. How about this one? Just true or false? On last year's taxes, your cost of goods was more than 55% of your sales. True or false? Let me clarify this a minute. When you look at your cost of goods on your tax form, or perhaps on your on your balance, on your profit and loss. Make sure you're just taking the amount of money that you're spending on inventory. Sometimes accountants will have you include other things in that cost of goods section. Your sales comes first and then your cost of goods comes next. And often they'll include like packaging or whatever. I'm just talking about your inventory, how much you paid for inventory. It was more than 55% of your sales. How about this one? Over half of your inventory was received more than 60 days ago. So what I want you to understand is that you have your best sellers, like if you're a yarn shop, for example, this color blue, for example, and I'm not saying that you might not carry this color blue from this particular vendor. Maybe you've carried it for the last 3 years, but the actual skeins of this yarn in the store, the actual SKUs you have in the store are newly received. They've been received within the last 60 days. That's what I mean. So it's not that you're not carrying the same things, but that you're carrying different ones. This is a huge one. Also, this is big too. Last year, your paycheck was less than 10% of your store sales, net of sales tax. All right. As you look at all these, how many of these have you answered true or false to? If you said true to more than 5 or more of these statements, it tells me that your store is struggling financially. But you guys, here's the thing, that in and of itself is not a sign that you should give up and close or sell your business. It is, though, a red flag that you have some work to do in order to keep your store from becoming insolvent and going under, because that's what can happen. That's what can happen. Excuse me. You can fix these issues. And listen, helping retailers turn their struggling store around is something that we are very, very good at. So please reach out if this is you. We can help. We can help. A lot of those things are actually, really, all of them can be fixable. But remember that I said there are 2 sets of signs, and on their own, they might not be enough to make a decision to move on. So the signs, the first signs from your store, that was the first one. And next are the signs from you. Here are some indicators that you might be ready to move on to a life after retail. Again, write down true or false for each of these statements. All right. Number 1, the idea of fixing the issues we just covered makes you feel exhausted, like it literally, like your shoulders just go down. You're not excited. And in fact, if you were honest, not much about the store feels fun anymore, or your business, online or brick and mortar, whichever, because all this applies to both. Not much feels fun anymore. I'm physically and mentally exhausted most of the time. I have no energy to do things that usually interest me. I'm resentful of the sacrifices I've had to make to get here. I can remember talking to somebody who said, I had to miss I couldn't find someone to work the hours from 3 to 6. And so I had to miss all my son's games after school. And yeah, so if that makes you mad, then this is a true, right? You're bored. Or you feel held hostage, like you feel like you just can't ever get away. And even maybe you're getting away physically, but mentally, are you able to get away? Mentally, are you able to turn it all off and not worry about the store when you go away? That can be a big thing. I'm just tired and I don't want to learn new things anymore. Like all the online stuff and all the social stuff. I've heard that from a number of people that we've helped move on from retail this year. We've heard that from a lot of people. I love this one. I'm annoyed by customers, team members, vendors. I'm just annoyed. Tanya, one of the people I'm going to tell you about later, that was one of the things that it was for her. I'm just annoyed, and I'm overly annoyed. Like, I know that I shouldn't feel this upset about it. I dream of doing something else. Right. Yeah. And it's true sometimes, right? That's a great point you bring up, Dawn. It can be that these things are true sometimes, but it's like in your heart of hearts, how are you feeling about it? Is that all the time? Are you just annoyed by things that you know shouldn't make you overreact to them? Are you overreacting to some of it? Right? That's the kind of thing I'm talking about here. All right, now let's tally up your total. And so Dawn said, no, not all the time. So then that's really, then you know that that's not particularly true for you. Then you know that. Craig has just opened his store in July of 2020. And he says that it's false for all of that. That's great. That's wonderful to know that. Because what I want you to do is to tally up your total. And if you said true to 5 or more of these statements, it tells me that you need something to change, because you're heading towards burnout if you're not there already. And I'll tell you that you can't afford to get burned out. It's why we end up talking. It's why we talk so much about mental health, and we talk about being a richer retailer in every sense of the word, because that's what you deserve. You can't afford to get burnt out. You have to give so much in what you do. You have to be full. So it's not that you're not occasionally overwhelmed, right? And again, all of this isn't a sign necessarily that you should give up or slow or sell your business, but it does mean that it's time to review the systems and processes of your store. And how can you get your store back into alignment with what your purpose is and your values are? You can fix these issues. And listen, helping retailers turn their struggling store around is something that we are very, very good at. I'm so proud to say that we've had incredible experience of success with our clients. We've helped them so much. So please reach out if that's you. We can help with this. We can help. We can help. So if you've checked a lot of boxes on the store side, but not on the signs from you, then there's an opportunity, you guys, for you to roll up your sleeves and let's start resolving some of these issues. They're fixable. And if you're willing to do it and you're excited and enthusiastic and ready to put in the work, then it's not time for you to sell or close your store yet. It's not. It's not. You just need to know what to do next. You need to have a profit plan in place of how you're going to fix things. Or maybe your store is doing just fine. So that wasn't you at all. So the big red X there means that the signs from the store didn't indicate you were done. And maybe it's even great financially, but you check a lot of boxes on the signs from you. It could mean that you just need a break. It could just mean that. It also means that it's time to set up some systems and processes so that you can find joy in your business again. What I find often happens, and what I'll ask people is I'll say, do you think you'd feel excited about your business again if you could just have a vacation? Then closing or selling is probably not the right step for you right now. Right? But if you've checked a majority of the boxes on both the store and the use signs, if you feel like no matter how much time off you have, you're just not going to like your job anymore, or if your heart just isn't in it anymore to take the steps that you need to take to fix what's not working. So the crazy thing for me, you guys, is for me, what it was, I'll never forget it. It was the customer that came in and was looking for a belt for her, a brown belt for her toddler for Easter. And so, yeah, we had a kids clothing and toy store, like kind of like an Anthropologie for kids. And I said, oh yeah, we've got one of those. So we went over there and she's like, oh, this is the only color brown you have? I really need more of a reddish color brown. That was it for me. I was like, really? Like, for your 2-year-old, you're concerned about finding a reddish color brown rather than the brown that we have here, which was just kind of like a neutral brown color. Now, right, to you, that might not sound like anything, but to me, I was like, and then I felt like, because you know how when you get in a bad mood, everything seems worse. I felt like she was attacking me for being like, you know, for not like, what was wrong with me that I didn't have more choices of brown for her. I was like, what? Like what? But Dawn says she totally gets that one. It sounds like most of her customers. I get it. Yeah, it was. And so, but so for me though, like I couldn't just let it roll off me, because you know people can be cranky, but I couldn't just let it roll off me. I was like, oh my gosh. I can remember going home and saying to my husband Paul that I was like, yeah, no, I I just want to help retailers now. I'm just done working with customers. Like I just knew I was. I just knew I was. And it's all about how you react to these demanding customers. That's what you have to think about. That's what you have to think about. So what I want to know is that, so like, were any of these things surprising to you? Because you can appreciate that of the signs we went over, a lot of these signs were, in fact, I'm going to stop sharing for a second because I want to be able to look deep into your eyes. So as we look at these signs, how was there anything that surprised you that you checked that was true? Just one or two things. I'd love for you to share because it's going to help everybody else share too when we can see it. So tell me, is there anything there that you did that surprised you that you wrote true on? I'd love to know. Meredith says she's had a lot of trues and this didn't really surprise her. That's great, Meredith. That's great. Only 1 fell in the store side, but 5 in signs from self. Right, Joyce. That's great to know, right? That's really great to know. Let's see who else here. Thank you, Carrie. I know. Thank you. Me too. Dawn, yeah, you too. Yeah, so Craig says some of the metrics on the signs from the store mean that I have some numbers to learn about how to calculate and learn to watch. Absolutely, Craig. That's exactly it. And so I can tell you still feel enthusiastic about it. Yeah. So you guys, the next step about all this now is that if your heart just isn't in fixing these signs, like Craig was saying, how he really is, he does want to, he's excited to dig into this more. But if that's just not true, if you can just tell, you've got to be honest with yourself, then it's very likely that you're ready to take the next step of moving on from your store. And it's time to release this weight that it's putting on you so that you can live a richer life. Is this resonating with you? Has it given you some clarity of where you are? Yeah, Linda, our whole point about all this was to help you get unstuck. That's the point. That's the point. You've got to take the emotion out of these things and evaluate them honestly. Know really how you're feeling. That's what you have to know. Because I'll tell you, like when I went home that night and realized that I just didn't care what color brown any customer ever got for their toddler's belt, I really, it was this. I had to celebrate it. And that whatever the decision is, whichever way you're going after this whole exercise, you have to celebrate it. Like, so Meredith says, it's reinforcing where I am. And this is literally how retailers feel, because when you take a step forward to get clarity, then you can make an educated decision. And for sure, you might not be feeling quite this celebratory, but you might be feeling grief or sadness, and you should totally allow those feelings in your heart and give yourself some time to process them. But you can breathe a sigh of relief and celebrate that you're learning more. You're turning some of these unknowns into knowns, and you can trust that there is a process. There's a process for what comes next. There is. Should I sell or should I close? 90% of retailers that have decided they are ready for life after retail and reach out to us think that the only strategy is to close their store. Right? But closing is not the only option. For some retailers, selling can be a great strategy. It can be. For others, closing is the better option, and you honestly can make as much money from either option. You really can. It all just depends on your time frame and the financial health of your store, and it depends a little bit on your landlord. Our fully customized life after retail process helps you decide which option is better for you, and then walks you through that step-by-step process that maximizes your success for either path. But what I'll tell you is whatever path you choose, The truth is that this process is a roller coaster of emotions, from the highs of excitement, relief, and anticipation to the lows of fear and shame and guilt and grief. It's all normal, and you should expect it and plan for it. So one of the things is that when we go through this process, especially the going out of business portion, well, actually, no matter what, during our meetings, I always say to people, okay, this is going to be very emotional for you, more than you think. What are you doing to take care of yourself? Like, I ask them to state what it is they're going to do, because that's really critical. You've got to plan for that, the emotionalism of it, Listen, it's hard to run your business and execute selling or closing your store while you're on this roller coaster. And that's why it's so important to have a professional, like someone who's done this, guide you through it. It makes it so much easier. And actually, this brings me to the biggest mistake retailers make when deciding to go out of business. They decide to do it on their own. Here's the thing. I've had people say to me, hey, I've run a store before. I've run a sale before. I get how this is just a bigger one, right? So I'm sure I can handle it. And I said, hey, I'll always say, or the team, Juanita and I will say, listen, the thing is that it's not just a sale. The purpose behind it is completely different. It's like the difference between a flash sale over a weekend, just to move out some inventory quick, and your semi-annual clearance sale. They're two different, they're sales, that's the part's the same, but the strategy behind them, because the end result is so different. The end result of a flash sale is just to move some items. Maybe you have some sweaters that are on sale, so you want to get rid of them. You have too many sweaters, you want to get rid of them. So that's like a flash sale. Clearing out your end of season merchandise to making sure that you walk away with more cash than ever and have moved more items than ever out of your store. Those two things are completely different end results. And then the end result is to when you want to clear out all of your inventory and fixtures and equipment and supplies too, that is a completely different sale. Plus, if you want to walk away with as much cash as possible, just putting up a 50% off sign and liquidating your inventory isn't going to do it. A going out of business sale is not the same as any sales you've had in your store before. There is a science to it. There's specific steps to take with your timing and your marketing, and dealing with your lease and your pricing of it, and dealing with the customers, maximizing what they do. Listen, just like you wouldn't get a driver's license without an instructor, or go into a completely strange city without Google Maps or whatever you use, or jump into the deep end of a swimming pool without having had lessons. If you don't have experience selling or closing your store, you shouldn't do it on your own. And everyone agrees, because it's really true. It's really true. And I wasn't kidding when I named this training, because you really are sitting on a gold mine. There is so much money to be made from your exit from retail, but it has to be done correctly, or you're going to be walking away from big pieces of gold in that mine. You're going to be leaving gold in the ground if you don't do it right. You see, I've discovered this step-by-step process that works, and the proper mining tools that leaves no gold behind. I've created this proven roadmap that will help you sell your store with less stress, or close your store with a hugely successful sale. Seriously, it's not uncommon. In fact, it's usual that retailers will have a month's worth of sales in the first weekend. True story. You won't believe how the markdowns work. So what this means for you is that you can walk away with more peace of mind and smoothly transition into the next chapter of your story, right? And so the point is that this is where you are now. You're feeling this right now, but this next step, our proven going out of business process, is always the same, but every store is different, right? And so we tailor it specifically to you and your individual situation, because we want you to walk away with more peace of mind and smoothly transition then into the next chapter of your story, going from here to here, right? This is such a perfect analogy, because you can't see all the stuff that's going to happen between between next and later, right? but you're going to get there. You're going to get there. You will. This is the fastest path to cash and calm. There is a science to making the most money and having so much less stress in the process. When we first started today, maybe you were feeling a little confused about this. And my intention with this training was to bring you more clarity, to rid yourself of some of that confusion, and to reduce some of the anxiety you might have been feeling. Let me know if you have more clarity now about it. Let me know, because this is what an outside perspective gives you. It can quiet the chaos and confusion and make it clear what steps are that you have to take next. And I want you to have access to our outside perspective too. I'm so grateful that this was helpful for you. And yeah, more of our customers who are doing this selling or closing. Excellent question, Dawn. And it honestly depends on the situation. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. Okay. You guys please make sure you put any questions you have into the Q&A, because I'd be happy to answer them. So this outside perspective, it makes such a big difference, because I love the analogy of being in a jar, and you're in a jar and you can see that there's a label on the jar, right? But you can't read it. And you need that outside perspective. You need the person that's outside of that jar that can read it. So that's the reason why we've created our Find the Gold one-on-one coaching package. It's a incredibly productive call where we're going to help you find the hidden golden opportunities that you might not see. Like I said, you can't read the label. It's going to get rid of confusion. You're going to have clarity, more focus. You will walk away from the call richer and happier. Yep, you will. You will, because you're going to have your very own profit plan about helping you to move forward. Either way, whether you're in or out, it's going to be more profitable than you think. It's what we do. Our tagline is more profit and better sleep. It's what we've been doing for 22 years. And because we've been doing this so long with so many retailers, we will find the gold that you don't even know is there. It's what we'll do, because it's what we do. So either way you go, staying in your business or exiting your business, we will find the gold and map out your next steps. Let me give you a couple quick case studies. So Cadence, and yeah, the value of it is easily $9.97. I'll explain why. So Cadence owns a yarn store, and she booked her Find the Gold coaching call because she needed a paycheck. She was really struggling with getting a regular, consistent paycheck. And so on the call, we identified key opportunities for her. And like I said, that's what we do. Like, I could read the label. She showed me the jar. I could read the label and I could see clearly the steps that she had to take in order to get the greatest amount of impact. Right. And after seeing those opportunities, she decided to stay in business and to implement our suggestions. And oh my gosh, you guys heard the result is that her sales now are 3 times what they were when we started. And she bought a building. I mean, you can see how her Find the Gold call brought her much more than $9.97. And this might be you. There may be things going on in your business that bring you pain, that make you just want to walk away because it's not working out the way that you dreamed. But once we help you find the gold in your business, you might think, oh my gosh, I don't want to walk away yet because this opportunity is awesome and I want to give this a try, right? That's what we can help you do. Now, listen, our case study number 2, well, because you might be like Tanya, she owned a gift store and she booked her Find the Gold call because she just wasn't enjoying it anymore. Her store was doing great, but she just didn't have the passion. She was struggling with her team and really felt like she was being held hostage, like she could never get away. So on the call, we were able to determine like what it is she really wanted. And so we determined that she wanted to walk away with enough cash to fund her next adventure. So she decided to close and move forward into her life. And she wanted to do it pretty quickly. And so that's why she decided to close. And now she is loving her new career. She really loves it. She didn't know how she was going to get, that image, the mountain picture I showed you. She didn't see the steps from the next until later. But it all worked out and it was worth so much more than $9.97. And this is a picture of her and her husband. Look at how little she had left over. This was all that was left over after the sale. This right here, this fixture and these items are all what was left over. She had had her business for, I believe, 17 years. And this is just part of her store, actually. Her store is actually bigger. And she had all this stuff in the basement, but we were able to sell it all and make her a lot of money. She was really excited, really thrilled with what our results were. She never thought, right, because her store was packed. She never thought it could all be empty. That's what people always say, but it always is. It always is. So decide to book now. You can see how this value is actually way more than $9.97. And the team and I talked, and we wanted to make this call as accessible to you as possible. Like, we wanted to make sure you could do it. So we decided to reduce the call to $297. And now listen, the value, like I said, is going to be great. And so we wanted to make it $297 to make it a no-brainer offer. But then we were thinking about how we decided to offer it for free. You see, we have a limited amount of time, as you can imagine. And so we decided, so we were originally going to charge a price for this to sort of weed some people out who weren't serious, but we decided just to trust you. And so that's why we're making it available to all who are seriously interested and who want to get this one-on-one call. One-on-one, it's going to one-on-one call, find your gold coaching call free for everyone that's watching the training. So the thing is like I said, we have limited free spaces available. So this is first come or first serve. And so we ask that you only book a call if you related to multiple signs from either your store or yourself. If you're serious about receiving guidance and suggestions about the opportunities available to you. It's what we love to do. We love to do that. We have the best job in the world. And are you serious about making a change in the next year? That's all we ask. All right. So on the next slide, I'm going to be sharing with you the link to book. But remember, first come, first served, and we can only commit to a limited spots in order to serve you best. And so we want to speak to those of you who are thinking of making a change in the next year. So if you're multitasking, come back, because I want to make sure you're paying attention. First come, first served, and here's the link. Go to retailmavens.com/find the gold to book your free one-on-one find the gold coaching call. We're standing by and we can't wait to help you find that gold, whether you are ready for life after retail or you're ready for the life of a richer retailer, right? That's what we're so passionate about helping you with. And especially if Janet says she already she's entertaining an offer to purchase. Oh my goodness, make sure that you call, because make sure that you are, because we want to help you to make sure that you're handling the financing of it right and all that. We just did this with someone yesterday and saved them a lot of money that they just didn't know any better. Smart people, really smart people. But right, when it's all that you do, we know all this, right? So let me answer a couple questions that I always get from this. Okay. So one question is I appreciate you're making the coaching call free. So if I'm not sure right now what I want to do next, would I still get something out of this call? Great question. And I can tell you that you for sure would. If you already know what you want to do, if you already know what you want to do, then the call is going to help you find the biggest opportunities and the next step you should take. That's the thing. But if you're still feeling unsure, use this call to get clarity. Because we've been doing this for so long, we have that outside perspective and that experience to see things you can't. So book the call and let's end that confusion, right? We can help you with it. Lisa asked, I didn't have a lot of the signs you mentioned, but I'm just ready to retire. Would this coaching call be right for me? Absolutely. Absolutely. If your store is doing great financially or not, and you're genuinely enjoying yourself, but you're just ready to take that next step, book the free call and we can help you find the best way to move forward while still fully maximizing the opportunities for you. And the same applies if your circumstances suddenly change. We had Nancy, we helped her do it because her husband got a new job and had to move, right? So no matter what the reason is for you exiting retail, there is a right way to do it so that you don't end up losing money or stressing yourself out. And we've had so many people reach out about this because They're just done. And so that's fine. That's what we're here for. What breaks my heart so much is that so many people come to me and think that they have to suffer with a non-functioning team or not getting paid or whatever. And they have been stuck in that place for so long. And if that's you, please sign up right now. All right. This is such a gift. It can be your own, you can be your own gift to yourself, right? Dawn said that she knows she can benefit from the call, but she only had three and two truths. So Dawn, if you'd like to get, that's what we can dig into. We can help you work out what those couple of ones are. Give us an opportunity. Who knows? Right? I mean, I can tell you that your time won't be wasted. You will walk away with a plan on what to do. We will list out what you need to do, the simple, easy steps that you need to do that will get you the most impact, no matter which direction you want to go, right? What I just hate to hear is people who are stuck, and for so long they've been stuck, and many put off the decision because they don't know what to do and feel like there are no options. But there are options. That's the thing, you guys. We are about everyone being a richer retailer. And maybe for you, that means leaving retail. That's fine. We will help you. Let us help you one way or the other. We have this unique perspective of looking at it that way. And that's why we made this call free, because we don't want any obstacle to stop you from getting the help you need. That's what we want for you. It's an honor to help and serve you. So book your call now. Don't miss this opportunity to talk to experts, to have a guide on this part of your journey, of your next journey. Or like I said, just to get unstuck. If you're feeling stuck and you know just having a couple of days off or 2 weeks off isn't going to change it, reach out to us, okay, you guys? Because that's why we're here. That's what we can help you with. So go to retailmavens.com/find the gold. That's what we will help you do. It's what we do every single day. It's why we love our job so much. So we'll help you evaluate what the next step is. Whichever it is, we're here to serve you. And we're experts at this, and we get incredible results. Can't wait to help you find your gold and give you the treasure map. Literally, you'll walk out of this call with a treasure map that's clear, where X marks the spot, and we will clearly give you the steps forward. Okay. Thank you so very much, you guys. Can't wait to see you and help you find the gold. Bye-bye now.